Hi, Professor. Here's my sampling technologies presentation for this week, which is working with AWS and AWS Cloud and running one of our previous projects on the cloud. So let's just jump right in. And so the first thing we want to do on our EC2 dashboard is to click on Launch Instance. From here, we can choose one of the many different Amazon machine images that are provided, like Linux, Red Hat, Ubuntu, or Microsoft Windows Server. So I use the Microsoft Windows Server 2016. So we're going to go ahead and click on Select here. From here, we can see the different tiers and different setups that they have. So initially, I know you said not to use T2 Micro. So I was going to be using T2 Medium, which has a little bit more memory, to virtual CPUs. So, but then I went back and chose T2 Micro, which actually turned out to be a bad idea because one of the issues that I ran into was that the instance just was running extremely slow. Having to install different frameworks was just taking forever, and sometimes it was just downright impossible to use. So I tried restarting the instance multiple times, and it just wasn't fast enough. So the way it works is that you have to use CPU credits. One CPU credit is equal to one virtual CPU that's running at 100% utilization for 1 minute, and this is again dependent on the setup and depending on the instance size that you're using. So for this case, it was just one CPU, and I know I wasn't using all the credits, so I'm not sure why it was really slowing down. So I'll, basically from here, you select the instance you want, you click on Review and Launch, and then you get a private key that you then use to create your admin key. So you click on your instance, you click on Connect. From here, you get your administrator password. Here you can also see the public DNS that you can use to access the instance from the outside. And so in order to do that, you have to first actually go to your security group and select the security group that you're using, and you have to enable HTTP and HTTPS to allow outside traffic. Once you do that, you go back to your instances and you click on Connect. Using the RDP file, you can connect directly using Windows Remote Desktop connection. So here's the instance itself that's running. For this particular project, I decided to set up a WIMP environment on the instance, which is Windows Internet Information Services, IIS, MySQL, and PHP. And so in order to do that, I first use the server manager within the instance to install .NET framework and ASP framework. And then after that, I used Web Platform Installer 5.0, use that to install PHP 7.0 and MySQL 5.5. And in order to install Web Platformer, I had to first disable the Internet Enhanced Security configuration within the instance, which is pretty straightforward. After installing MySQL and the PHP framework, I had to then I installed PHPMyAdmin manually. I could have used the MySQL command line client to create the database, add the users in the tables, but I just wanted to use PHPMyAdmin to replicate what we were doing locally for this particular project. And so what I decided to do was take the Google Maps API project from, I believe, week 3 and have that running on the server here on the instance. So I created a new table, a new database, and then connected all of that up here in the code. This is the same code that I created for that project, with the exception I just updated the database here. So this is working. So I'll go ahead and load the web page on my local machine here that I'm recording the video on, not on the instance. This is a Chrome browser on my machine. And so here's the website, again using the same public DNS URL, and then the file sampling API.php, which is right here. That's actually stored in the directory C inetpub www-root, and this is the file right here. So I'll go back to the browser. I'll go ahead and refresh, and then go back to the instance itself. Go back to the PHPMyAdmin. Right now, there's 6 entries for when I was testing. I'll go ahead and click on this again to reload, and we should see a 7th one that'll populate right there. So, yep, it just did that. So it's working, and we're able to access the server from the outside, and we can test in this environment, and we can even host the full website here if we wanted to. And then let's say we want to upgrade the speed, and there's more bandwidth, and just the application takes a lot more, needs more to run. We can make an image of this instance so that our data is stored, saved, and then we can stop the instance in our dashboard and then increase the memory usage, increase the CPU usage, and then restart the instance, and then upload our use the image that we saved previously, and then we continue developing from there. So overall, it was a pretty straightforward process setting this up. Like I said, the instance itself was running extremely slow last night, so that's an issue. As far as for my company that I work for, which is a healthcare organization, we deal with a lot of patient information, private personal patient information. So I know one of the questions you asked was the difference between using SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. We would probably be using infrastructure as a service at our company, because it allows us to create the application and store the data locally and store, and the middleware and the operating system is running locally. What we would be using from Amazon would be the virtualization, the servers, the storage, and the networking. Whereas something like the IaaS, which is the infrastructure as a service, is a full virtualization that happens on the cloud that includes the application, the data, and so we probably wouldn't want to do that. We want to control the data, and so we would keep that locally. So we would use the infrastructure as a service. So that's the overall environment and how it's set up and how I have it running, and it works. Okay. All right. Thank you.